At this point now, we can work on the legs. So how do we do the legs? We will start this time by going to add mesh plane and make a big rectangular surface. The X area we would like to be 2 inches and the Y area to be 1 inch. Very good. Again, we will go to snap selection, apply scale, and then we go into edit mode. We can go to face select, zoom in, this is selected, and we will extrude this one up now. To extrude, we can use the extrude command, bring this one up to there. Very nice. I extrude this one more time by 2 inches. And then I go to this face and extrude this by, well, let's say 3 inches. Okay. So very easy. As you see how out of a flat surface we created a three-dimensional model. Now we will go to move and to object mode, because what I want to do is to move this into the correct position. I just saw here I had this set to medium point. We will set this to bounding box. Our global we will set to local, because when I go to rotate and along the z-axis rotate it by 45 degrees and then go to move, you can see now that I can move this along the specific rotated x-axis, which also means when I go now into edit mode, I can also slide this along the local x-axis. Okay, let's go back to object mode. We will go to the bottom view, and I have my y and x-axis and here blue rectangle. When I click on this, you see I can move this along 2 axes without, however, moving it along the z-axis. When I go into a perspective view, then you see I have also these other planes. So right now with this, it only moves along x and y. To position this a little bit better, however, obviously it makes sense to go into an orthographic view from the bottom. So let's go to somewhere here. Okay. To be a little bit more precise, maybe we are not working super clean. We try to explore the idea of a computer table rather fast. So we do a lot of eyeballing. You see how I line up the 2 corners of my leg to these edges of my computer top table. Actually, I turned this one off, but then it's still shaded smooth. So let's set this to shaded flat. Now I see really the edges, so I can be a little bit cleaner. Okay, good. Shade smooth. Turn this back on. There we are. So now I move this back a little bit. Cool. There is a huge gap between the tabletop and the leg. That's on purpose, because I will show you now how we can move everything up and do the snapping. So we go to edit mode, go to wireframe mode, because then it's easier to select everything. go to box select. We select all these faces. Go to move. Go back to shaded view, and then here snapping. Honestly, the easiest one is to use face. So we snap it to the bottom face. Because these edges are rounded, I have more snapping targets. So more edges I could snap. And thus here with that face, I move this one up, hold control, it snaps to just that face. Now you see how this is all kind of like jumping a little bit. Okay. There, let's go to a side view, zoom in, super precise. Okay. That's good. The lag, however, looks a little bit sad. So how can we style this more? No, actually, let's do this. So this is all still selected. Let's go to bottom view. Okay, this is nice. We will select just this face, as you can see. Go to bottom view, and now we are in local mode. We just slide this kind of like to this corner. Nice. So I did this on purpose on the bottom so I can stylistically match this front edge again to this part. If I rotate, there we see now how we have a nice angle. But you see this is angled and then this is vertical. Well, that's not very good. Let me show you something how we can clean this up. Very easy. We select this edge, then we go and turn this on. This is auto merge. What does auto merge mean? So when I press GG, not one time G, but twice G, and I move my mouse up and down, you see how I'm sliding the edge. And when I continue to this corner, it stops actually, I can't slide anymore. And if I click my mouse now, well, what happened? Check this out. When we move this down, the two edges were fused together. Right click, escape to stop moving. Or in case you moved it by accident, undo. I do undo one more time. There was actually, yeah, edge slide. Here's also the command for it. If you want to do it this way, instead of using GG, you can also use the command. There. We do this one more time actually here with this edge. Select it. Click the yellow button, go to there. Perfect. And also here we just only have a single edge. Nice. Okay, this edge actually, now we keep for the moment. We have to remove this at one point. Let's clean this whole leg up a little bit more. This is too uniform how this comes down, particularly the inner edge. I would like to be more angled. So let's turn on our edge length. And when I click this edge, it tells me 2, and this is 1 inch. So when this is 2 inches, I would like also to always work in clean dimensions or units. So maybe this should not be a rectangles or not a square, so not 1, 1. Or maybe this edge we move over by half an inch. So we turn this edge here into 1.5. You see this looks nicer. Okay, good. That's actually pretty nice. So at this point now, we have created the basic building geometry for this leg. Now we can take a look at how we can round everything. So we can select this edge, and I will show you now, in contrast to bevel weight, another method how we can do associate edges or points to the bevel command. So this edge is selected, and then I will go to the object data, which is kind of like the mesh. Vertex group. Vertex is actually just a point. So these points are selected. You see I went to point select. I click plus, double click inner bevel and say assign. Here when I press AA, so nothing is selected, and then say select, it tells me that only these points are selected. If, for example, more points are selected, like this one, select which should not be part of this group and click remove. There. Okay. So why did we added it actually this? You will see. Now we can go to Bevel Modifier. Here we don't know yet really how much this could be, maybe 2 inches. I keep this at 1 for the moment and limit. Now we go to Vertex Group and click in this list and select Inner Bevel. Okay, yeah. So 2 actually looks pretty big. 1, that's too tiny. 1.5 looks maybe better. Go to 10. How does this look? 15. Yeah, that's actually quite nice. We can add now a second bevel modifier, and this will now then actually explain why one time we use the vertex and one time we use now the weight command. So 0.25 inches and 10 segments and limit method angle, we could say, hey, this looks pretty good, but it also rounds all edges, all sharp edges. That's not really what I want. I just want certain edges. So the certain edges are just those I'm selecting here right now. So the vertical outside and inside, and here the 2 horizontal edges. Bevel weight 1, and we set this to weight. But what happened here? The bevel is gone. So what we will do now is prepare our geometry one time a little bit better. And let's turn this off for the moment. I will explain actually what happened, why when we did this with weight, everything didn't work as expected. And we go to wireframe shading. So this looks really nice. Pay attention to these 2 edges. When we bevel just these 2 points, now you can see there are the segments, but look at all that extra stuff that was added. So that's actually a quite complicated geometry or mess. And when we then tell the software, hey, add more stuff over it, it gets confused. You see how the fillet here goes onto the surface. So we need to help the program a little bit. And we do this by selecting this and this edge, and then we press X, delete, and say dissolve. So what's the difference between delete and dissolve? Delete really removes, and think about like cuts it open. Dissolve is kind of like an eraser, it just makes it disappear. We click dissolve, and if I go to shaded mode, you see I have my original faces. Let's hit undo. Press X and we say delete edges. There you see it cut it open. So I hope that this basically explains the difference between dissolve and delete. Now back to wireframe mode. We turn this on. Oh, look at that. How nice. I just have the extra geometry where I want it and not inside there. And when we turn this on, zack, it also rounds the rest beautifully. Sweet. Okay. Object mode. Then we will right click and say shade smooth. Holy moly, what's going on here? That's just a shading artifact. This is also perfectly normal what's going on right now. The rounding here is a two-step process in every program that deals with polygons. So we tell the software round all edges, which it can do here, but because we tell it to round everything, it also tries to round over a sharp corner. Well, that doesn't work. And that is the reason why we go then the object data for the mesh, normals, and say outer smooth. Turn this on, or in case you have this added to the quick favorite, no, right click, add to the quick favorite menu. There we are. Sweet. So now you see sharp edges are broken, and where we have not like something like 90 degree, it shades it nice and soft. Very nice. Let's call this leg and turn this one on. Then we can go to the modifier, and since the prototype is done, we can now go to mirror X and Y, and for the object to mirror this over, click the eyedropper, select the tabletop, and there we have this one. Very good. And one interesting additional detail, because we have this line removed, and previously we moved also these edges up. When I move this, you see this just is a really nice straight line. So when I would like to change the angle, it's very easy to move just the bottom plate and all these other edges follow it. Okay, perfect. So we have with this finished our legs.